Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 26th March 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Mains related articles are more as compared to prelims related articles. Let us take overview first of these articles and then we'll go into details of all these articles one by one. So first article here is why the electoral bonds scheme must go. So yes, we are looking into or having the follow up about the electoral bond scheme, as Supreme Court is listening to the petition regarding the electoral bond scheme. So here the analysis, it is talking about the issues and concerns associated with this electoral bond scheme and why it should be abolished. The writer is giving some arguments here, so we have to consider those arguments for our examination. GS2 paper, polity part. Remove the wedges in India Bangladesh ties. Yes, so India Bangladesh, and the Bangladesh is celebrating 50th year of its independence, and now Prime Minister is visiting Bangladesh. So that's why some of the articles will appear. This article is also talking about the bilateral relationship, and it is talking about the evolution of the bilateral relation and recent times, how it is improved, what are the challenges involved and way forward. Okay. Then yes, GS2 paper, international relations. Third, why no decision on list sent by collegium? Supreme Court asks government. So yes, the recommendations by the collegium are still pending and the government has not appointed, or the president is has not appointed some of the judges to the High Court. So yes, it is talking about the pendency of or vacancy in the High Courts. Some factual data is provided. At the same time, here we will look into how this collegium system evolved in India since independence. Okay, so GS2 paper, polity part again. Apex Court bats for women officers in army. Again, it is talking about the discriminatory procedure involved in application for permanent commission by the women officers in army. So the Apex Court has ordered that there should not be such a discriminatory procedure for women officers in army to apply for permanent commission. Okay, so yes, this is important development, again progressive statement by Supreme Court here for gender equality. So GS1 paper, society, GS2 paper, social justice, and essay paper. And for yes, prelims, Manila sends more ships to South China Sea. Here it is again, we are discussing about that Whitsun Reef issue that happened in a few days back, that Chinese ships, fishing ships were there, about 200 ships in the Whitsun Reef area. So the Manila, or we can say the Philippines, has accused China of such ingressions in its EEZ. Okay, so now the Manila sends more naval ships to South China Sea near that particular area for patrolling, and therefore again there are tensions in the South China Sea for, we can say, a particular area of Spratly Islands, specifically that Whitsun Reef. So what is that from geography, mapping and international relations, we will have follow up here. Now let us go into details of all these articles. Yes, first article, here is why the electoral bond scheme must go. Surely the writer must be providing arguments against electoral bond scheme here, that it must go, right. So very good article. He has written, Gautam Bhatia, advocate in Supreme Court, he has written after so many days this article, and yes, you should read this article. The language that is used here, that can be directly used in our GS2 paper examination. Okay, so yes, what are these arguments against this electoral bond scheme? What are the issues and concerns associated with this particular scheme? We have to understand that, and first and foremost, that the concern here is, we have to understand, in democracy, right to know is very important, let's say, aspect of freedom of expression. Okay, or freedom of speech and expression, here it is an integral part of right to freedom of expression under Indian Constitution. Now it is given under Article 19, under Article 19A or 1, we can say here, of Indian Constitution, fundamental right 6 freedoms which are given under Article 19. So this is the first among them. Okay, so right to know is very important fundamental right, especially in the context of elections here. So basically there is lack of transparency in this particular electoral funding scheme, electoral bond scheme, and for that matter the people are not knowing who is paying or funding the elections. At the same time, how much money a particular political party is receiving, from whom it is receiving, all this information is not in public domain, right. So for that matter we have to understand this is violative of fundamental rights. Which fundamental right? This one, Article 19, right to freedom of expression. Next we have to understand is some of the developed countries, Western countries, where we can say the advanced democracies, they have the public funding of elections. Okay, so elections are funded publicly. So public funding of elections, some of the committees have also recommended this public funding of elections. Okay, so this is also good idea. Why? Because it ensures the equality among all these political parties, that it brings parity among them, because some of the political parties may be having more resources, other political parties may be having less resources. So to some extent this hampers the the nature of elections that are happening. The more the money, more the resources, it strengthens the position of political party and its candidates. Okay, so this is how we have to understand to ensure the parity. What happens in some of the democracies, advanced countries, the public funding of elections is done. Now in India, this electoral bond scheme, it brings, or we can say it uncaps the funding of elections. Uncapping of political donations, introducing a structural bias into form of donations, violate another fundamental right, that is right of equality before law. Now this particular fundamental right is under Article 14. Article 14 provides for equality before law and equal protection of law. Equality before law and equal protection of law. Okay, equality before law, this particular provision is adopted from British Constitution, and equal protection of law is taken from US Constitution. What is the meaning of these terms? Briefly let us understand. Equality before law, that means everyone is equal before law irrespective of background of that person, be it caste, community, race, religion, gender, everything. Okay, so everyone is equal before law. Now this concept is taken from we can say rule of law concept or British Constitution. Equal protection of law is regarding affirmative action. That means equals should be treated equally, unequals should be treated unequally. This is called as equal protection of law, and this is taken from US or American Constitution. Fine. So here right of equality before law is violative because of uncapping of these political donations. Okay. Next important concern here is, as the electoral bond scheme allows even foreign donations to political parties, especially through some of the dummy companies, we can say that shell companies. Okay. So direct foreign funding under FCRA is not allowed. So yes, earlier we have talked about this FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010. Under this act, political parties, MLAs, MPs or those contesting elections, they are barred to receive foreign funding. However, such kind of, let's say, foreign funding can be done through these electoral bonds through shell companies. Okay. So there is scope for large scale institutional corruption here. Okay, this is very important concern. Because of lack of transparency, we are not able to understand whether such corruption is happening or not. Okay, so this is important concern, important issue here involved. Lastly, we can say that electoral legitimacy of the government questionable if electoral process becomes questionable. So lack of transparency in this particular scheme At the same time, who is funding the elections and to whom or to which party they are funding, all this is questionable here. And for that matter, when this complete electoral process becomes questionable, the political party or the government which is being elected later on becomes completely questionable. The electoral, we can say, electoral legitimacy of the government becomes questionable. Now this is very important argument. You can put this in your examination or we can say answer in GS2 paper whenever it is talking about this particular scheme. Now what kind of question we are expecting, and the input can be taken from this particular article here. Just now we discussed electoral legitimacy of the government is questionable if electoral process has become questionable. In the light of this statement, critically analyze the issues involved in the electoral bond scheme. Just give these 5 important arguments and try to elaborate them. Okay. So yes, in critically analyze, in initial part you can also give some positives that why government brought this particular scheme in first place itself. Why? Because the government had argued that earlier the cash donations to some extent contributed to black money being used for electoral funding. Okay, so for that matter, now all the transactions are becoming through banking system largely, and that for that matter we can understand that the white money is being, let's say, used for funding the elections here. However, we can go on writing some issues now. These are the issues. Okay, yes. So GS2 paper polity part. Now moving on to next, remove the wedges in India-Bangladesh ties. So yes, Bangladesh is celebrating 50 years of its independence. Bangladesh War of Independence 1971, how India contributed politically, economically, or we can say military, all the cooperation that India gave during that war, yes, to some extent that has resulted into good relations between India and Bangladesh in future also. And we have to understand the present relationship that we have, the positives, the challenges or the concerns, issues involved, and the way forward. Okay. So yes, India and its neighbors. This is the syllabus topic in GS2 paper, international relations. So what are the positives in India-Bangladesh relations? Yes, we can understand that in initial years up till 1975 there were good relations when there was a democratic setup, but later on the military rule continued up to 1991, and then the democracy was there. And yes, there were ups and downs in India-Bangladesh relationship. However, in last 1 decade, there is a good improvement in the bilateral relationship, and it has spread over different sectors. Okay, so this is how we have to start with any question that we have when we talk about India-Bangladesh bilateral relations. Now, what are the positives? First and foremost, you should talk about is the land boundary agreement that was passed in 2015. Land boundary agreement, wherein both sides amicably agreed to exchange the enclaves here. So Constitution of India was amended by the government, and yes, a larger territory as compared to Bangladesh was given to Bangladesh, and the view of those people living in those enclaves was also accepted, whether they want to be in Bangladesh or citizen of Bangladesh or citizen of India. All these aspects were peacefully done, and this is a progressive we can say example for world also to solve any boundary dispute. Okay, so you should write this first point when we talk about positive. Second thing, you need to also talk about that the Sheikh Hasina government in last 10 years has uprooted anti-India activities from its land. Okay, so this is also positive development, and because of that the border area is now peaceful, and as compared to other border like India-Pakistan, India-China or India-Myanmar, yes, India-Bangladesh border is now peaceful comparatively. Then economically, if we talk about India's Bangladesh is India's biggest trading partner. Some factual information: the bilateral trade in 2018-19, factual information, it stood $10 billion, about $10 billion total bilateral trade. Okay, so this was largest by India with the neighboring country. So that is again good thing. Further, we can also say that India is extending line of credit for infrastructure projects like rails, roadways, power lines in Bangladesh. Now, inland waterways development. So this line of credit is being extended at present. There are such 3 line of credit in last 6 to 7 years have been given amounting up to $8 billion. Okay. So yes, Bangladesh is also a largest contributor when we talk about the medical tourism in India. Almost 35% of India's international medical patients are from Bangladesh. This is also a positive thing. Then for connectivity of northeastern states, all the goods and their shipments from northeastern states, they can be directly exported with the help of access to seaports from Bangladesh like Mongla port and Chittagong seaports. Now this is also ensuring the connectivity. Also, if we talk about the connectivity to northeastern states from the mainland, there is bus service, a direct bus service between Kolkata and Agartala runs a route distance 500 kilometers, otherwise it would have been 1500 kilometers through Chicken Snake. Okay, so this is how we have to understand. It is providing important connectivity, access to northeastern states for India. So all these are positive developments in India-Bangladesh relations. Now what are the issues involved, concerns, challenges? So yes, first and foremost, the bone of contention here is the unresolved Tista River water sharing issue. Now here there are some concerns regarding West Bengal government and central government. They are not on the same page when we talk about the India-Bangladesh, this particular Tista water sharing agreement. Okay, so yes, domestic issues influencing the international relations. So this is one aspect, you can give that example here. Second aspect we have to understand is, yes, there is cattle trafficking going on across the border, and in recent times the border killings by BSF of these civilians, yes, those are criminals, they are doing the cattle trafficking. However, directly killing them by BSF is not the solution. We have to understand this. Okay, so such instances of killings are happening more and more. Yes, third important aspect is Chinese investment is growing day by day in our neighborhood, and Bangladesh is no exception for that. So such infrastructure, trade and defense investment in Bangladesh is increasing, right? So that is also concern for India. And lastly, we can say that National Register of Citizen, NRC, especially the activity that is going on NRC in Assam. So to some extent it concerns Bangladesh, because many such Muslim migrants from Bangladesh, when they entered India during that war of independence or before that. So yes, it is a matter of concern for them, because if the nationality is not established, then they will be in future deported to Bangladesh. Now what going to happen in future, that is again the important concern here. Right, so these are the issues and concerns in the bilateral relationship, and what should be the way forward? The way forward here is that as we are the larger country, okay, so we should have some kind of, let's say, compassion towards the smaller nations in our neighborhood. Yes, the Gujarat Doctrine should be followed here. Gujarat Doctrine in 1990s that our foreign policy had adopted. This Gujarat Doctrine says that we should give more and more to our neighbors, small neighbors. We should not expect from back from them. Okay, this should be our approach if we want to have or secure our borders, our interest in our neighborhood in South Asia. So we should ensure that people are not killed on the border for cattle. as there are appropriate means for justice, other civilian procedures can be adopted for ensuring justice here. And yes, we should be generous enough to let the water flow. Basically here the Tista water sharing, this should be adopted amicably. The issue should be resolved between central government and state government here. There should be some kind of solution, and that solution should be on three fronts, three C's: cooperation, collaboration, consolidation. You can use such words in your answer. Okay. So cooperation, collaboration and consolidation. Fine. So what kind of question we can expect here in GS2 paper? IR section, India-Bangladesh relationship has entered into new era of cooperation in 21st century. Here they can also use the word in last 1 decade. Okay. So here the command can be comment, analyze, critically analyze. Okay, so this is how we have to attempt this question. Take input from this article, very good article written, as there will be some more articles as our Prime Minister is visiting Bangladesh for celebrations of 50 years of independence of Bangladesh. Okay, yes. Now, why no decision on list sent by Collegium? Supreme Court asks government. Okay, so the Supreme Court is again asking that why decisions on the appointments are not taken. So the Collegium recommendations are pending more than 6 months to nearly a year and a half. Okay, and the government is not interested in such appointments. Some data can be taken from this article regarding vacancies in high courts. Yes, high court with highest vacancy percentage: Patna 60%, Calcutta 55.6%, Rajasthan 54%, Madhya Pradesh 49%, Andhra Pradesh 48%. Now this is like more than half or more than half vacancy. Directly give these examples. More than half Patna, Calcutta, or we can say Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh. And least vacancy, the lowest vacancy, all high courts in northeastern states like Manipur, Meghalaya and Sikkim, 0%. And then in Kerala 14.9 and Guwahati 16.7%. Okay. So this is how we have to understand. As of March 1, over 60% of the sanctioned strength of judges were vacant at Patna High Court. Right. So this is how we have to take input here. Highest vacancy, Patna High Court. Now, from basics, the origin of collegium system. Now there can be question in mains examination. Discuss the evolution of collegium system in India regarding the appointments and transfers of judges in higher judiciary. Okay, so we can expect such base question from basics here. So what is this collegium system? What is collegium? So collegium is a group or forum consisting of Chief Justice of India and other 4 senior most judges constituting a forum together, and they are recommending the names for the appointments of judges to the government. Okay, so these appointments are to the high courts and Supreme Court, and transfer of judges among different high courts. Okay. So this is the collegium system, but this collegium system is not provided in our constitution. Rather, constitution, there is one article, article 124, it talks about that every judge of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by president. So this is the basic information given, but no collegium or this word is used here. So yes, this is evolved over the period of time. How? Through 3 important judges cases. Okay, so judges cases, which are these judges cases? First judges case, SP Gupta case 1981. Now in this first case, the Supreme Court has said that the primacy for appointment is of the government or the president here, and not Chief Justice of India who is recommending these names. Okay, so president can deny to appoint, or we can say that deny that name of that particular person to be appointed. So this was said here, ruling gave executive primacy, that is to the president or the government over judiciary in judicial appointments. Okay, now this was overturned in the second judge's case. In 1993, Supreme Court Advocates on Records Association versus Union of India case. 1993, the majority verdict gave back CJI's power over judicial appointments and transfers. Okay, however, it says that CJI only need to consult the two senior most judges. He need to just consult two senior most judges whenever he wants to recommend certain names. Okay. So this was regarding second judge's case. The president is now reduced to only an approver. So sole authority is of judiciary now. Fine. And in third judge's case, so here the concern was regarding the person, the CJI. It depends only on that person. There is no check on his power here. There is no check on his power. So there can be misuse. There can be misuse, the biased opinion can happen of the CJI. Yes, at last he is also the person, right? So for that matter, in third judge's case, what Supreme Court in 1998 in this case said that, yes, the consultation earlier of two senior most judges, now there will be of four senior most judges together, the consultation. And here the consult with plurality of four senior most judges, and if the majority among them or if two among them gives the adverse opinion on that particular person, then the CJI should not recommend that name. This is now we can say check on CJI's power, right? So this is the ultimate, or we can say the present situation through this third judge's case. Now the government through 99th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015 sought to bring changes to this collegium system and replace it with National Judicial Appointments Commission, a statutory body which had a say of central government or union government in that appointments of judges at par with judiciary. However, the Supreme Court in this particular case, this is also called as fourth judge's case, it struck down this particular act by saying that it impacts the independence of judiciary. It impacts the independence of judiciary. Now independence of judiciary is the basic part of basic structure of constitution, and for that matter it cannot be taken away or tinkered with. So yes, this was the view or verdict with 4-1 majority. Okay, shall be continued made with the collegium system in which Chief Justice of India will have last word. So at present this is the situation and it is continuing. However, the tussle between the collegium or we can say judiciary and executive is continuing. How it is not, the central government or the executive is not appointing these names suggested or recommended by the collegium, as we are seeing the vacancy is growing day by day in high courts. So yes, explain or discuss the evolution of collegium system of judicial appointments and transfers in India. Such kind of question from basics, try to answer this question. Then Apex Court bats for women officers in army. So here the Supreme Court has the view that army's selective evaluation process discriminates against and disproportionately affects women short service commission officers seeking permanent commission. So though the permanent commission is allowed for women after the Supreme Court judgment earlier last year, now the kind of criteria that is put by the army for women officers to seek such permanent commission is discriminatory, and therefore the Supreme Court has ordered that there should be elimination of such a discriminatory process here. Okay, so yes, the women are which should be treated equally in the armed forces also. In recent times Supreme Court has taken such progressive stance. Now this is also one of them. Okay, so it can be used in essay paper, GS2 paper, social justice part, GS1 paper, society part. Fine? Okay. Now specifically prelims related, yes, earlier on 22nd March also in the Hindu analysis we have discussed this particular issue. There will be repetition here, as now Philippines is going to reply to the Chinese aggression in South China Sea. So yes, Philippine military ordered the deployment of more navy ships to South China Sea amid growing diplomatic row over fleet of Chinese boats parked near disputed reef. Now what is this reef? Whitsun Reef in South China Sea. So location, geography mapping part. Here is the Whitsun Reef. Here it is part of Spratly Island. Spratly Islands, and here these are the not these are here somewhere here like this. There are Paracel Islands. Spratly Islands and Paracel Islands. Some of the group of islands, disputed group of islands in South China Sea. Now what is this dispute that is going on among these different countries? We can see here in this map the claims of different countries in South China Sea, China and other Southeast Asian countries. So this red line is Chinese 9 dash line, the area claimed by China, Chinese claim, 9 dash line. So there can be question in prelims examination. A 9 dash line sometimes seen in news is related to which of the following? This is regarding the claim of China, maritime boundary claim of China in South China Sea. Other countries like Philippines EEZ claim, you can see here yellow part, this one, right. Then other countries like Vietnamese claim, this is Vietnam's claim like this. You can see here it claims Paracel Islands as well as parts of Spratly Islands. There is Brunei claim also, Malaysian claim also. So this is how all these countries are fighting over the claims of these islands. Important aspect that you have to understand, this South China Sea, one is the hydrocarbon resources, potential hydrocarbon resources in the area, and second is biotic resources including fishing. Okay, and third we can say that strategic aspect, strategic aspects. Okay, so from these perspective all these countries are fighting over the claims of areas in South China Sea. Fine, okay. So lastly, important captions and quotation. So from that particular article where we were talking about the electoral bond scheme, so electoral legitimacy of the government is questionable if electoral process become questionable. This is very important part of democracy, that the sanctity of electoral process need to maintain. And here, if democracy means anything, it must mean this: when citizens cast their votes for people who will represent them in parliament, they have the right to do so on the basis of full and complete information. Now this full and complete information, right to know, right to information is fundamental right, and then only they can express in their right to vote. Okay, that will be the ultimate or the best vote that they can give here, and for that matter it is part of fundamental right now. Okay, you can use this in either GS2 paper or even essay paper when we talk about democracy, essay on democracy. Fine, so take inputs for essay paper also and mains examination GS2 paper. Okay, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. अगर ये आपको वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसको लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट बॉक्स में हमें बताइए कि आपको ये वीडियो कैसा लगा। साथ ही इसका लिंक जो है आपके फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर कीजिए और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे लुकमान आईएएस चैनल को। For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari sir and team, and a perspective building is done on those issues. For further information on that course, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.